wasn't quite as rough as 2020, but we were able to get back to some normalcy here. Some of our senior groups started meeting back up. There was a couple times throughout the year we had to call off a meeting here or there. We were able to have all of our events this year, so the public enjoyed that. The community enjoyed just having these things that they were so accustomed to. A break is always good, but not that kind of break. It was sad to not have Depot Day and some of the other events in 2020. So to get things back in 2021 was great. We had good attendance at each of the events, and this year we talked before about moving our Veterans Park. We moved the flagpoles there. We're still waiting on the monuments to come in, but we added some park benches there, and so moving that in the middle of Depot Day was a little complicated. We had some areas blocked off while we were waiting on those to be completed, but those projects are completed now. We got the picnic shelters complete. We got the Veterans Park complete. We're very proud of it. And of course, next year we'll be able to get it landscaped. We did have a few new restaurants open up in 2021. One of those reopened from 2020, which was our Mexican restaurant, and so they're doing great. They're doing really good. We had a new barber shop open up in town, and we had a new print shop open in town as well. So yeah, the economic development on the small town scale has been great for us. We always love to see something new coming into town. We just opened up our new Dollar Tree last week or 2 weeks ago, and every day there's just a crowd of folks down there, and that is the former Fred's building that we've been so concerned about. That building sat empty for about 2 years, and we were getting very concerned that the building was too big for some businesses and too small for others, and it was just the square footage was just odd to what some of the retailers needed. But Dollar Tree came in and they actually built a firewall because they didn't need the full space. But we're just really, really proud that they decided to come here, and I think they'll do great here. And our community is very appreciative of them venturing here. So we think that's going to be a great addition to our dollar stores in town, to our retail development.
I don't think people realize what a challenge it is sometimes to bring new businesses into small towns.
Well, we get comments all the time. Well, we need a new grocery store. Why didn't y'all do this? Why didn't you bring this? We need a QT. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way in a small town. We really worked with the real estate agents for about 2 years in trying to. Dollar Tree had looked at it at one time earlier and felt like the building was too big, and we're able to go back, and it was quite a challenge to get that. So yeah, it doesn't. We don't have a wish list that we can just call up, and it doesn't work that way. So and I think most people understand that, but you'll have a few that criticize. It should have been an Ingles. It should have been a Aldi. Well, we might feel the same way, but that's not the way it works. But we're very, very proud to have Dollar Tree here.
Yeah, I think a lot of people miss that all those groups, like the big ones you just mentioned, they have a formula, and they already know before they come. They're going,
Yeah, and
it's not something you can talk somebody into coming somewhere. Even Anderson has faced that with some things. They don't have the roofs and traffic they want for what people wanted a Costco up there.
That's a major. Yeah. That's a major component. That's a major ingredient to that formula is traffic count, and our major highway is 81, and the traffic count. There's a critical need to get more cars on that road to get these type of developments that a lot of folks want to see here, and maybe it will happen, but it's probably years down the road. But we're proud. We're proud of our small town. So the old Dime store, I think we had talked about. I think you understood the town bought that building back about 2 years ago with the intent to turn it into a community space. We do have some renderings on from an architect on just some concepts that we would like to see there, and we appreciate Senator Gambrell, who was able to provide some appropriations for us to put a new roof on the building, and that's going to be happening early 2022. There should be enough funding left in that to work on a new heat and air system in the building as well, just to get those infrastructure things needed that we're going to need to finish up. But the actual the facade, the exterior renovations. That's what people are going to see. Probably see that in the spring. We're working with the architect now to try to design what's going to be best for downtown. With our community use, a lot of folks will rent our civic center. It's a huge gym. It's a little too big sometimes for small gatherings, and so we feel like this building will be better used for small birthday parties, receptions, anniversary dinners, and that's sort of what we're looking at doing. Now during the week, we may have some bingo games there, line dancing classes may be held there, and then on the weekend available for rentals. Now, we've talked about having a weekly auction there. There's all kinds of ideas that people have thrown out. So we've got 2 new houses that have been built. They're finishing up now. They are 2 of 8 that are proposed for that lot, or for that section of town. There is another area of town where we're looking at 17 new houses. We're working with a developer now on getting that ready for us so that we can look a little deeper into what we're going to need to do to make that work. But interesting thing that we've got going on now is we've got some folks buying some empty lots that are moving houses here. I think, in the upstate you have a lot of houses sitting out on fields where developers are buying and putting in several hundred houses, and there's a house in the mix that just needs to be moved out. And so that's great for us because we treat it as a new build. A new foundation has to be laid, and when the house gets brought in, then renovations, construction has to take place to get it set up, and it's like as if it were a new house. So we've had 2 of those, and looking at a few more things for 2022. We had an old house that town acquired, and we're able to work with some developers on doing something special to that house. We wanted to keep the house intact. We didn't want to tear it down because the historical, the structure was great, the architecture was great, so we didn't really want to see the house tore down. So these folks are working on it now to sort of restore it, add a room to it. It's going to be nice. So I think that we're going to see a lot of that happen in 2022. We try to stay active on social media, and interesting, we've talked about this before. We feel like Iva is more geared for senior adults, retired folks to move here because of the lakes and the recreation in this area that's more fit for a rural community. And we're starting to see that. We see a lot of the folks that have retired from the north or even out west. We have a lot of folks that have moved here from, just had a couple move here from New Mexico just a couple of weeks ago that purchased a house here, and they're retired. And they just like that more simple way of living. The traffic, you don't have traffic congestion here. You can cross over 81 fairly quick, and it's not like Anderson where the traffic is just very congested now. So that appeals to a lot of people. Word of mouth. I think the small town is coming back. I think people like small town living, and if you do, Iva's a great location to live. You're an hour and a half from Atlanta, another hour and a half from Charlotte. Anderson's just 10 minutes up the road. You got Hartwell just right down the road. So I mean, it's geographically, it's a great location. We try to market it through social media. Our events, when folks come in with families, I think the people who live here tell the story of Iva. They love living here, and they're probably our best marketing tools. The people who live here tell their story. Making sure that we have the funds to finance the city is always a major concern. We're right here in the middle of our budget, but taxes are coming in, so we have to make sure that stretches out for the rest of the year. Making sure that our infrastructure is where it needs to be in case we do get growth. We know we've got small growth coming in, but to keep that updated. And that's a challenge because, with a small town, with a small system, it costs just as much as a big system in a lot of ways as far as repairs. And making sure that we're able to provide those services when folks move here. If you move here and we tell you we're going to provide this, then we got to provide that, and those things don't come free. And so to make sure that we are in a good financial position to take care of those things is always a challenge, as it is with any town. Making sure we're staffed, making sure that that we are able to meet the demand as it comes in. But I think we're positioned to do that.
And what are we looking forward to in the first quarter in Iowa? 2022 is almost on us. What do y'all have planned for the first part of the year?
I think strategic planning. We don't really do events in the first part of the year. We sort of relax from the fall and Christmas season are very, very busy with the different things that go on. And so we typically take January, February, March just to sort of recoup and to strategize for 2022 or for the year. And I don't want to say just breathe a little, but basically just sort of breathe a little bit, get things planned out. And but I think in the first quarter of 2022, what you will see happen here in Iowa is the dime store. We're going to see a new roof go on the dime store. We're going to try to have everything wrapped up for the planning on that so that we can get some construction going on there. We hope to have some development plans in place for possibly a new subdivision, the 17 houses that we talked about. We want to get that wrapped up and something going on that. We talked about, you and I talked earlier about the museum needing a new roof on it. So that is underway, and I just want to just publicly thank the county. They provided some funds to assist us with the new roof. We had a private donation as well, and then the town's contributing some money to get a new roof. The roof basically collapsed during that horrendous rain that we had back about a month ago. So once the new roof goes on, we're going to redo the museum. We talked earlier about we spent weekends during the summer getting the museum redone to reopen, and the rain just ruined it for us. So we were able to get it done for the People's Bank celebration, but just shortly after that we had to take everything out of there, so we're going to have to redo it. So we're going to use this opportunity to really do something nice in the museum. Our police department is fully staffed now. That was a challenge during the year. We had officers leave, and the whole police departments throughout really the country have been hard to staff lately. And so now that we're fully staffed, that's great. And we've got a great group, got a good chief. We just had an election. Our mayor went back in. This will be his 21st year in office, and he's well loved here in town. All of our council members have been here for years. We didn't have any challengers this time, so they all went back in. So they're all in for another 2 years, and they're ready to roll their sleeves up and work. This council is just great to work with. They want to see growth. They want to see stabilization. They want to keep things simple and small, but at the same time, they realize that we need new housing. We need to get some development here, and they're willing and to do what needs to be done to make that happen. We're expecting 2022 to be a good year for Iowa. We think that with new houses coming in, we'll have new residents moving in here, and I think that Jackson Mill, I think that this will be the year that we can really start working on some good development plans for Jackson Mill and really starting to market that property. That takes a lot of people working together. It's not just the town. It's going to involve the county. It's going to involve the state. But you got 17 acres there, sitting right on Highway 81. That is good property. So we definitely are going to start working on Jackson Mill. New houses, more cars on the road will help us really do something good with that property. It's going to take a long time. Nothing's going to build there next year, but the plans and the planning for that is going to be fun. It's going to be an opportunity for the town to really do something special with that property, and it holds a special place in many hearts because it was where a lot of people worked, and there's a lot of people attached to that property, and so I think people are eager to see something happen there. And I think that 2022 will be the year that we can really sit down and start working with developers to do something special there, or at least get ideas and get the ball in motion. And so I think that's going to be a fun thing to do.